Yes, people, welcome back to another daily transfer video, day 2, and it's already starting to pop off. It's already starting to heat up. Today, I have 2 people to talk about, one of which I think you'll be very excited to hear this news or rumor or speculation, whatever way you want to call it. But before we get into it, please, as always, do me a favour, hit the thumbs up button, man. Hit those likes, it massively helps. And subscribe if you're new around here. Would love to get to 10k as soon as possible, and all your support helps. Right, let's get into it because I don't want to wait much longer. The speculated future of Pep Guardiola has been increasingly talked about over the course of the last few months. I think it's fair to say we've all heard things. We've all seen reports, some suggesting that City are trying to extend him by or put him on a new long-term contract, I should say. I have heard things suggesting that he is going to leave in May 2025, so the end of next season, along with Tiki, who's going to retire, along with Ferran Soriano, who's going to go to New York City and take a job over there, doing whatever they want him to do over there. But the priority here, of course, is Pep Guardiola. As much as I would like to know what the futures of Tiki and Ferran Soriano are, I want Pep to stay. I want the club to convince Pep to stay somehow, and you kind of have to be honest with yourself and try and be balanced in the situation when you hear things like Pep wants to leave in 2025 and say, look, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Fair enough. He's completed absolutely everything he can. He's done absolutely everything he said he would come and do, and you would have to essentially hold no grudge if 2025, May 2025 was to be the time that we'd have to part ways. But he did go to Abu Dhabi, didn't he, in the last few days? He went out to Abu Dhabi. They said it was to meet Khaldoon, but I said on streams I knew it wasn't just to meet Khaldoon. We all know he was going to meet Sheikh Mansour. If you just wanted to meet Khaldoon, you could have done it in Stockport. You could have done it in East Manchester because they're both based in Manchester anyway. So he went out, he met Sheikh Mansour, and we all kind of knew, and I said this on streams a lot, that this meeting that Pep would have with Sheikh Mansour and Khaldoon, Tiki there of course too, Ferran Soriano, would be somewhat crucial in deciding the future of Pep Guardiola, and if there was any room for persuasion to get him to sign a new contract, whether it's 5 years, whether it's 1 year, it doesn't matter. We just want to secure somewhat of a future with Pep Guardiola and keep kicking the can down the road for as long as we can. And there's also a lot of you who are like me, who are like, come on, mate, after May 2025, you'll have done 9 years. Hit the decade mark. Come on, hit the decade mark. Tommy, our man Tommy on Twitter, big up Tommy. He has come out with his own sources and his own information, and he says exclusive. So this is a Tommy exclusive. Pep has a proposal which would see him extend his City stay by another 12 months, which would take him to June 2026, with a rolling 12-month renewal review. If he agrees, it will complete a decade at the Etihad. An open offer to join New York City FC is also on the table. I knew something like this was going to happen. And I don't say I knew this because I'm some sort of an ITK. I just knew in my heart of hearts there was no way Pep would be allowed leave that Abu Dhabi meeting without some sort of an offer on the table, and some sort of an offer that the club feel pretty confident he would be interested or would have to think about. I think if the club proposed a big bombazzo contract like, come on mate, sign for another 4 years, take it to 2029, Pep would go, come on, listen, I've done 9 years or 8 years now, 9 years in 2025. I don't want to commit to another 4 years. The smart move by the club here was to offer exactly what they offered. I think it's really, really smart play by Sheikh Mansour and by Khaldoon and by those proposing this deal to Pep Guardiola. First of all, like I say, do not let him leave without an offer. Make it abundantly clear that we want him to stay, whether that means pay increase, access to further resources if he needs any more, whatever, etc, etc, etc. The 1 year extension taking him to June 2026 is fine with me. Should he accept it, because it kicks the can down the road. It takes him to 10 years, and it shuts down the speculation for at least another year and a half or so, doesn't it? It shuts down those rumours and those conversations we don't want to have. And then a rolling 12-month renewal review. I think you don't give a rolling 12-month renewal review to a manager unless you really want to keep him. So you're essentially saying, look, sign a 1-year extension, give us 1 year guaranteed on top of what's left on your current contract, and beyond that we can just sit down every summer and go, do you want to continue? Yes, no, and we'll take it from there. I think this is good business from the club, and I think it's definitely going to give Pep something to think about. It's going to make him think, okay, I could hit a decade, there's no pressure on me to stay, because if you listen to a lot of Pep's interviews regarding his future, and I don't mean just now, I mean over the, his whole tenure at City, he's always spoken like someone who feels like he wants to fulfill his contract. Whatever length is on his contract, he always wants to give that contract everything. So not putting him under pressure by saying, here's a 5-year contract, sign that, is the best move. It's basically leaving at a loose end. 1 year guaranteed extra, and after that it's totally down to you. We can discuss, we can review the situation, we can see what the trajectory is like. So there's no pressure. We're not putting severe pressure on the guy, and I think this is the correct approach for Manchester City, and it's the best chance we have of persuading Pep to stay further. So I think this is a very, very good update. If it's true, of course, I think this is a very, very good update, and something we should, as a fan base, feel somewhat optimistic about. So come on, Pep, do the right thing, mate, and sign the contract. Right, outgoings. One outgoing linked today. Our friend, our legend, our hero, Vincent Kompany, over at Bayern now, of course. He is interested in Bernardo Silva. Now, look, we have heard the last few days, and I said on yesterday's video that Bernardo doesn't expect to leave. Maybe that was based on the interest in him at the time, but it could change based on more clubs potentially showing interest. I mean, if you're like me, you're probably baffled at the fact that a whole host of clubs haven't jumped at the 50 million release clause Bernardo Silva has. Maybe Vinny has viewed this as an opportunistic avenue to go and swoop in for a world-class player, bona fide world-class player for, in my opinion, a very good price at 50 million. The report says exclusive, another told me exclusive, new Bayern boss Vinny wants to sign Bernardo Silva this summer. The pair remain close, so they must still have somewhat of a relationship, and Vinny wants to bring Bernardo to Bayern. Now, what I will say is, if you'll excuse me, hay fever's killing me. Bayern are stacked. Bayern are stacked with attacking players. I mean, you have Musiala, Sané, Gnabry, Coman, Muller. There's probably a load of your man Tal or Tel, Matthias Tel. There's a load of them in there in that Bayern team. Does Bernardo fancy himself to start ahead of all of them? Does he fancy himself to get the game time he wants over there? I don't know. Or will he just say, I don't really want this? I don't know. From my opinion, and I've always felt Bernardo himself is pretty happy at Manchester City. I think there might be other people in his life, you know what I'm talking about, putting pressure on him to get out of Manchester. Maybe they don't like the weather type thing, but we'll have to see. Is the weather much better in Munich? No, it's not. I can assure you that. I've been there. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on this one. Like I said, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Vinny and Bayern are showing interest in Bayern, and I wouldn't be surprised if more clubs decide to show interest too in Bernardo Silva. So look, it is what it is. The main news today for me was the Pep one, and I hope we get some clarity and conclusion on that soon enough. Please, people, let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed these videos. Subscribe if you're just coming across the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Another update. Hopefully some positive movements. In a bit, people.